right. Well, go on, everybody. Lennox here from Simple 123 Trader. We are live at the New York stock market afternoon session. It is Thursday, March the 27th. Glad that everybody can join us, and hope everybody's doing well. So quite the morning here in the markets, it looks like it, what I'm seeing here. I'm just taking a look at the charts for the first time. I was up earlier around 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock my time, and I made one trade in gold. I made a trade in gold out of the ordinary. I don't usually trade gold, but the setup was just so nice. Let me just see where I was on this leg here. So I caught the majority of the move from down here all the way up into this area here. Then I got out and went back to bed. So, but look at how far that went up. Wow, that's amazing. So let me just look at that at 10 o'clock this morning, see where that was. So yeah, that was right in this time, very close to this time here. I saw the 1, 2, 3. So it was a sweep. They gave a beautiful 1, 2, 3 bottom, and so I took advantage of it right around this time here, and rode it all the way up to this high, and I got out. That was good. That was good enough for me. But if I was alive and well, I would have probably stayed in and gone longer. But I was a bit tired. So that was quite the. I've been watching gold along with the other currency and so forth past few days, and I was looking for that drop back into this area, and then for the next move to the upside, because you can see the structure quite clearly. 1, 2, 3, 4, and so I was looking for them to come back into this area, sweep these lows, and they did actually do it. Wow. And then give us this push back up to the highs. So I really could have set a target for the highs here, but it's all good. So that was gold. So let me take a look at the Forex factory here, the news for today, which is, it says tomorrow, but that's actually today. So let me go back one more. Here we go, today. So we had GDP and unemployment. So it looks like GDP didn't do too much because it's about the same. Forecast was 2.3, they got 2.4. Unemployment, basically the same as well. So it probably didn't do much in the way of moving the markets. George?
Right.
Did you notice anything at all?
No, not much.
Okay. All right, I look at the euro and the US dollar. Looks like US dollar is in a downward mode today, and euro is in an upward mode today. So a weak US dollar basically overall right now. So that would a weak US dollar, again, I'll go over this just for those Forex traders. And just before I do, all those people on YouTube, we are the S123 traders and the simple 123 traders. We're just looking for one particular setup that occurs over and over and over again in the markets. And this is all for educational purposes. We're not recommending any trades for anyone. So you do so at your own peril. All right. If you like what you're seeing, we do a play-by-play, blow-by-blow, bar-by-bar analysis and of almost every instrument out there, stocks, commodities, futures, indices, Forex. So if you like what you're seeing, give us a like there on YouTube, and also please join and subscribe to our sessions. Thank you. Okay. I'm on the west coast of Canada, and we have a beautiful looking day out there today. We've had some really nice weather lately, George. Here, we had a 15 degrees yesterday, which is about 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So quite nice. You there, George? Am I talking to myself?
No, I can hear you fine.
Okay, good. I just wondering. All right, Peter has joined us. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning.
All right. So we have a little group of that who've been with us for quite a while, and so that's who I'm talking with. If anyone's wondering who am I talking to, that my inner circle group here. Oh, that's interesting. Inner circle, ICT, inner circle traders. My inner circle traders here, Mr. George Pitcher, who's in New Jersey, Mr. Peter Bain, who is here in Victoria with me, and we have Marquis, who's down in Florida. Correct? Yes, Florida. And Stacy, who's on the West Coast here in Victoria with us as well. And Vic is also with us. He's in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Beautiful British Columbia, Canada. All right, so that's our team, basically, and our hardcore traders and who hang with me every day. And I'm shocked that they still do, because it's this is a game, of course, not for the faint of heart, right? We all know that. It's a tough game, but lots of opportunities to be profitable. Okay, so we have a weak US dollar. That was the takeaway. So I'm going to go to the hourly time frame, and I'm going to take a look at Aussie US dollar, which should be, since the US dollar is weak, this should be going to the upside, and it is on 1 bar right now currently. Kind of sideways primarily, but it is pushing to the upside on the weak US dollar. Bitcoin is also kind of sideways. You can see it's similar. We had a big drop and then a big push back to the upside. Now we're coming back down again. So we're in quite the chop here on Bitcoin. So that's what we have to be aware of. We're in this big, huge channel here. Quite interesting. We'll take a look at a more detailed look at Bitcoin. It's quite interesting setup going on here. Euro US dollar would be also going up, and it is. GBP US dollar should be going up, and it is. And New Zealand US dollar should be going up. It's kind of stuck like Aussie US dollar is, it's sort of in the middle. Okay, USD CAD should be going down. It is currently. USD, even though it's in an upward mode, we are going down a little bit right there. USD Swiss should be also going down. It is really going down. USD JPY should be also going down, but it's bucking the trend and it's actually pushing to the upside. So we have a strong US dollar versus the Japanese yen. So it's telling us the Japanese yen is quite weak. So you can then look at like pairs like GBP JPY to go higher because the Japanese yen's weak. Euro JPY going higher because the Japanese yen's weak, and so on. So just by using the US dollar, you can pinpoint what the other currencies are doing, and that's quite so you see the US dollar is weak currently. So I'm going to take a look at the US dollar first here, and if I'm missing anything out on the indices or anything like that, guys, let me know if you see something that might be worthwhile looking at currently. But I'll just do a quick analysis of the US dollar overall. So I'm on the monthly time frame. So this is the the last 3 monthly bars. You can see we're in a downward mode on the last 3 months. But the overall structure of the US dollar here. I'm going to make this a little smaller. Let's just see. I'm going to make it a little, yeah. So now I can see the entire picture of the chart. And when you do this, this really helps you to get an idea of the overall structure and what's going on. Even though this is a monthly, it really does help to see where we've been. We start, starting over here way back in 1967. Wow, amazing. So 1967, big move down. We had this huge push up into 1985, and then huge drop back down into 1994. Big push back up into 2000s, early 2000s. Huge drop off down into 2009. This is the meltdown that everybody's kind of last familiar with, the mortgage crisis in this area here. And from here we had this rise. So we've had like a 1-2 here, and then a 3-4 in here, and now this big push to the upside. So looking pretty good that if we can stay above these levels here, that we should continue pushing to the upside. And of course we could come down and take out some of these lows before we get that push, so that's possible. But it would look like we would want to continue to the upside in the long term on the US dollar. So something like that is definitely a possibility. So quite an interesting chart. Lots of ups and downs going on in here. So from that low that the low in 2007, 2008, this is the mortgage meltdown. 2008, 2009, the US dollar had lots of strength through this area, and then we dropped back, and we had this big push. And then this drop back again. We had another 1-2 here, and now we chopped up and down in here, and we're looking for price to go back up, taking out these highs and these highs. So we could come down and take these lows out, but that's possible that we could go do that before we go again, but we shall see if that's the case. All right, so coming in a little tighter now to where we are, you can see if this was our last 1-2, then we went into this mode into a 4, typical ABCDE, but they did not take out the lows here, interestingly. So that's why I'm saying it's possible that they could bring it back down, but it doesn't look like that's likely. So we should push from in this area here. There's a gap right there on the monthly. So we could push right from that area and go straight up from here. But weakness right now on the monthly, definitely, right? So we're coming a little tighter now. We can see the bigger picture. So this huge, let me just get that over a little bit. Okay. So this huge 1, 2, 3 here, down to this level. We'll get a 1, 2, 3 here, and then this big push, drop, an A, B, a C, a D, an E. We took out that low. It failed to take this one, and now we're pushing back up. That's like a 1, 2, and then that's what I would expect here. So something like that. All right. So coming down to the weekly time frame, you can see that's the 1, 2 right now that I'm expecting to take us back up. So we need to finish this move down, and are we done at this point? Possibly. So one way of looking at it is to put the fibs on, and hopefully, Peter, you'll get that figured out, how to use that thing. So there is 50%. We're below 50% right now. 50% was right here. So we're well below the 50%. We've got a 1, 2, another 1, 2 drop. So we're looking for another drop here to take out these lows. So that could put us into the 79% area, and then I would be looking for a 1, 2 to continue back up. So something like that would more than likely be playing out. That's on the weekly. On the daily, you can see we're getting this pushed back to the upside, and the current daily bar is red. So that's why we have the weakness. So we're pushing back into gaps here, and we'll be looking for another drop here. Whether we're going to go straight down from here or we're going to go up a little bit further, we can tell when we drop down a little lower. So still looking for another drop to take out these equal lows down here, and that would make sense because we have a 1-2 here, and then we have this drop. So we should kind of go do something like that. They could take this up quite high too, eh? Up and they could even come back up into this gap here and before they drop it down. So you'll see here. So on the 4 hour, there's the move from the bottom. So did we sweep? Yes, we swept that low. Get a 1-2 down here, and then 3, 4, 5. So is this the top? Could be, or we could still go one more time and take out that high. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it looks like this is a 3, 4 here. So they could push it down to take out these lows, maybe even these guys, perhaps even this one on this move down. So we've got a 1, 2, 3 top there. So we could certainly come down a ways before we get that turnaround. So another way again of looking at this is to draw a fib from this low to this high, and we'd be looking for a retrace of about 38 to 50% of this move. So 38 to 50% puts us into this area, and we're basically in it. And they could certainly come lower, so they could come into these levels as well and take out these lows. We have a 1, 2, 3 top there, so that is definitely a possibility that we could do that. So a weak US dollar, that's the 4 hour to 1 hour. You can see we're very weak overall. So big, huge 1, 2, 3, another 1, 2, 3. We're looking to come down, definitely taking out these lows. Okay, so that's why we have a weak US dollar. So yeah, very interesting there on the US. All right, so Bitcoin, let me go to Bitcoin and take a look at Bitcoin. I'm going to start Bitcoin also on the monthly time frame. Just want to take a good look at this because I think it's really important to just look at the overall picture of what you're trading to see where you're at overall. So there's Bitcoin from its inception in 2015-ish. Yeah, and it's had quite the run here. So is this the top? That will be the question, right? We've got a 1, 2 here. We pushed up into 3, 4, and now we pushed up into this big, huge move. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That says 5. That says that's the top. But this entire move here, is also consisting of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what that says is that this is a 1 and this is a 2 because we just started. And so we're in a third wave actually. So we're not at 5. We're more likely at 3. So 3, 5 question mark. We're more likely at 3. And we'd be in a fourth wave at this point. And so we could gyrate in here, something like that, before we continued this move. So I've been looking at the current move down, and I was saying that it's possible for us to come back down to the 75,000 area. And this is, we basically almost touched it there. So we could see a big push back to the upside here. Okay, so that's on the monthly. So we're in a downward mode on the monthly right now, but overall, we're in an upward mode. Okay, so weekly. On the weekly, very strong move up. So we went through this fourth wave. This was very clear. We had a 1, 2, 3 bottom here. This was back in July of last year. And then we get this big push up, puts us in a fourth wave here. So we pulled back and we've come all the way back down almost to 75,000. Amazing. So looking for perhaps one more drop to take out this low, and then a push to continue. But this could only this might just put us in a fourth wave again. So we could be in a larger fourth wave like this one, where we did this. We could do the same thing here and just do something like that as well before we continue, but we'll see how that plays out. So on the daily, there is our sweep at the top. We get 1, 2, another 1, 2, big drop down. We're inside this channel, looking for them to come back down, take out these lows, and put us back down to around the 75,000 level. That's kind of what I'm thinking is going to happen, but of course I could be incorrect. So, but it looks like a likely possibility here. So 4 hour, you can see this is not indicative of a move that looks like we're going to go straight up. It's possible, of course, like I say, but looking like we're going to have one more push here. So we're chopping up and down, right? And now we get this last leg. We're chopping in here, same kind of thing, and we could get one more push up first before we get this collapse that looks imminent. So that's a possibility. So if they push up too far and start taking out these highs here, then of course all bets are off and we are heading to the upside. But if this gap here that's holding price back holds, then we should continue back down. So that's kind of what I'm seeing overall here. But this 1, 2, 3 here is in control of the current move. So we've just swept the lows here. So let's come down to another time frame. So this is the 4 hour. Our 4 hour bars are pretty neutral in here. So not much going on the 4 hour. 1 hour, very choppy. We had a big drop, big push back up. We're coming back down again. So I've got this gap down here that's still in play. We see, although we did mitigate most of it with these wicks and so forth, these tails, we've come back into there. So I'm looking for price to come back down again, and then a push back to the upside. So we swept this low, looking for a 1, 2, 3 here now to continue up. So that would be what I'm looking for there on Bitcoin. Okay, so let's go down a little bit more, 15 minutes. So looking for a further drop here on Bitcoin. So where would we be coming to? There's an inverted gap right here. So again, using the fibs, you can always kind of pinpoint where your 50% area would be. Let me do this again. It this way. So a 50% retrace of this move would take us right here. So we're basically there, and this inverted gap looks very inviting. So we could drop right into that inverted gap and then continue pushing back up. So that looks pretty good for Bitcoin if we can get that drop. All right, now I'll look at the NAS. And that's basically similar. I was looking for that that drop as well. So again, I'll start off on the monthly on the NAS just to be consistent here. So look at that. We're looking at the NAS from way back in early 2000s, long way back. I think if I do S&P, you get an even bigger or further back. No, it doesn't. I thought it did. Maybe it was the Dow that goes further back than 2004. I think it's the Dow, eh? which we haven't looked at in a while. The Dow goes way back. Yeah, that's right. The Dow goes way back in the 40s. 1897 was the inception of the Dow. 1896 was the inception of the Dow. So that's pretty cool. There you get a good idea of where we've been, where we're coming from, and where we are. So United States of America, or is it now called the Divided States of America, Marquis? George, Divided States of America now?
Yeah.
Yeah, quite the
See
historic.
how insignificant the 29 crash was when you look at that.
1929.
Yeah.
Let's see. Wow, it was pretty harsh back then.
Yeah.
It was quite a move, and it kind of looks like where we are right now, eh?
It does, but
Isn't that interesting? So, we needed to take out these lows if we're coming back down, and they did. 1929. Wow, that's amazing. So there was the huge push to the upside. So again, the structure always holds and get this big move to the top. So that would be our 5 at that point, and then we get this drop down. So that would be our A. So now you can really see the pattern, the A, the B, and then our C leg that would take out the A leg and come down. And it actually came back down and took out all these guys down here. Quite interesting. And turned around with a 1-2, and this whole thing becomes a 1-2, and then off we go again. So from that time, it's just been essentially a straight up move from there into the 60s, and then we come to the next big dramatic drop was 1987, and that was that Black Monday.
Black Monday.
In 1987, that was a huge drop. And after that, the next big debacle was in the 2000s, 1999, 2000s. We had the big meltdown of the .com era. So I was quite heavily involved in this era. I was learning all about Elliott Wave and 1-2-3s, and the stocks were flying, and yeah, it was quite the time in here back then. So I learned, I got my feet totally wet in here, made lots of money, lost lots of money, but I came out of it unscathed and determined to learn the trade and be a winner, be consistent and so forth. And I've held to the 1-2-3, which I learned from a guy named Ken Roberts, the same guy that ICT, Michael Huddleston, learned from as well. I bought his World's Most Powerful Money Manual. It was called The World's Most Powerful Money Manual by Mr. Ken Roberts. Quite the book. And yeah, I learned all about his 1-2-3. So we would have seen this 1-2-3 at the end of 2000s. There, 2002, early 2002, we would have seen that. This was after 9/11 and all that. And so this 1-2-3 would have been something that we'd be looking at to play off the monthly time frame if you were playing off the monthly. And then we get this big, huge move. So quite the move. And then look at that. They came back and took all that out. And this is the 2008 debacle, mortgage meltdown. So we came down in 5 waves here, took out these lows. Again, 1, 2, 3 to get us going again. So quite interesting how it works. And from then on, 2009, this market has just been in an upward tier. So, like I said, it's looking like 1929 again. You can see the pattern is similar. So from 2009 low, again, this is a Dow Jones. So, we've got this, like a 1, 2, 3 here, and this big, huge move to this level, big drop. This was in 2019, 2020. And then again, we start off and going. So we're in a 5th wave right now at this point, and still looking, you can see we're still looking quite strong, and I'm not looking for any drop here at this point. I would be still looking for continued movements to take out the highs and so forth. So we're just getting a pullback at this current moment in time, essentially. So you can see from July of last year, we've had a nice, this is a whole 1, 2, 3 bottom here. So this would be our 1, 2, or our 1, 2, 3. If we look at 1, 2, 3, and then we're pushing out, and we're in a 4th wave right now. So we need to finish through this 4th wave and then continue. So it looks good for the United States going forward. So the divided states needs to get united again and continue here. So it doesn't mean that this can't come further down. That's totally possible. We could see further drops here, but we don't really want to see something like that happen. That's kind of nasty. So all right, so on the weekly time frame, then the monthly. So we go to the weekly. You can see that we're in this 4th wave. So we can chop up and down in this 4th wave for quite a while. It's possible that we could do something like that and then continue. So we can certainly come and take out these lows and come down further. There's a big gap here as well. So that's a total possibility. And we could do something like that before we continue. But overall, it looks really strong, really good for the Dow, and similar would be for NASDAQ. So NASDAQ is doing a similar pattern. We're in a 4th wave. We're chopping up and down. So it looks like the NAS is very close to finishing that 4th wave. We've got the 1, 2 here. We've pushed up. So we could be looking for a turnaround imminently here. But I think we have one more drop to come before we get that. All right, so that's on the weekly. So if I go to the daily, again, we had this 1, 2 in here, drop, chopping up and down, hit that high. So now I'll be looking for price to come down. However, it's not going to come straight down like that. It's going to do the waves. So 1, 2 in here, and then a continuation down. So if I come down to the 4-hour, we got the move up. Now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They finished the 5 waves. So now I'm looking for them to push back to the upside. So we need that pushback up to give us our 1, 2. And then we're coming down in a hurry from there, because that will be our 3rd wave. And I'm looking for them to take out all these lows. So that's what I'm kind of seeing overall. So on the hourly, so since we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, then that, if this is the bottom, and that looks like that is, then we're getting a 1, 2 here. That should push us back up to come up and take out this high. So that would be what we'd be looking for today. This is the hourly time frame. So we just opened up a new 4-hour bar right there, and we'd be looking to get in on the wick, or the tail of this. So a little move down, and then we want to catch the ride up to take out the high up here. So that would be the the trajectory for today, I would think. Again, you know, we have to look at another alternative. It is possible for them to come down and take out the low, but I don't see that as being a high probability. It'd be more like we should turn and go back up at this point. So, but let's see as we come down lower, 30-minute. Can we go back and take that low? Certainly. But that would kind of mess up our structure. So our structure is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, looking for 1, 2, and then a retrace back up, maybe even up into this gap up here. This looks pretty, pretty inviting up there. This gap up there, right? There's a closer gap here, so we could go in there, of course, but I would think that we would continue up one more time to that level as well. All right, so 15-minute, big drop down. So you can see the structure from this level now. So calling this the bottom, of course it might not be. So we have to be, you know, is this the bottom, right? And so we have an A, B, a 1, 2, 3. We're in a fourth wave, looking for us to drop one more time, but not break this low, and then continue back up. So it is possible for them to break that low. They can be mean, but I wouldn't expect them to do that. Let's see. So now we can really see it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looking to come down. Where are we coming down to? There's a gap. Beautiful. So that looks really nice for a turnaround to the upside from there. Okay, and then down to the 1 minute. I can see it from the 5-minute even that in here there's a 1, 2, 3. So we're in a fourth wave, looking for the drop here, right? So I'm going to mark this gap here on the from the 5-minute time frame. I'm going to mark this out across, and I think in my indicator here I can actually make that go right across so that I don't have to draw it out. Let me just see if that's so. Wouldn't that be nice, eh? Okay, doesn't want to give me the settings. Why? Why would you not give me the settings? That's odd. Okay, doesn't want to give me the settings. Let me see if I hide it. It hides it, brings it back. Settings. Nope, doesn't want to give me the settings. Interesting. Okay, so it's not gonna let me manipulate the settings. Very odd. Okay, so I'm looking for price to drop into this gap, and then we're looking for a turnaround. So on the 1 minute, looking for them to take out this low right there. So we need to break through this low, and then into the gap below right there, right? You can see the structure beautifully here. Very nice, and even in here there's a 1, 2, so we're again going to drop one more time. So if we can be patient, we can get a nice trade here. How's Tesla been for you this morning, Peter?
It's been a moneymaker for me. $2,600.
What? Wow, that's awesome. That is awesome. I've been thinking that I want to start looking at Tesla to play the options again, because I noticed that it really moves. It's moving like the indices. So it's a good one for the options. Like let's see this morning, for instance. Where was our open this morning here?
I'll look on the 1 minute chart.
Yeah, just trying to find the 9:30 open here. So a ways back. I'm way back here. Wow. Okay, I'm on the wrong mode. Okay, 5 minute. Okay, so here's 9:30 down here. So option play this morning on the 9 at 9:30 at the open. You know, we're sitting at 272 area. So the open, there wasn't much of a gap this morning, eh? Well, interesting. So 272, and we went up to 292. This was on that's last Thursday. Why am I on? This is today. Yeah, sorry. This is today, Thursday. So yeah, so 9:30, we opened around 272 area, and we went up to 292. That's 20 points. Wow, that's a lot of points there, George, Peter.
Yep.
Wow. So buying an option, 272s. I remember yesterday we looked at I looked at the option prices and so forth, and I didn't follow through. I forgot all about it in the end, but I didn't follow through with the we're looking for 284, I believe, for a target or something like that, and that would have worked out quite nicely. But today, the same kind of thing, 272, and you say we bought the 275s, you know, looking for targets even up anywhere up here. Wow, that's huge. So options are very powerful, as you well know. So that's something that I might start to look at. That means I have to get myself ready for the open at 6:30 my time here, 9:30 Eastern, and catch these plays, these moves. But yeah, very strong, beautiful moves here. So on the 1 minute time frame, going back to 9:30, this is where we were.
Are you looking at the 270 options?
So this, if we were looking at from this morning, based on the overall trajectory, we were looking for a buy. So I would be looking at, say, the 275 calls from this morning.
You see what that looks like on the chart.
With expiry tomorrow, so we'd be out of that trade.
Yeah, right.
Pretty quick. We'd be looking. I don't know if we can even. Went up to 292. That's an amazing move. So there is our 1, 2, 3 bottom, and 1.618 takes me to 278. So even if I, you know, took 278 or even 200% move to 280 to 280, yeah, that's still 5 points from 275. That's still 5 points. That's just a lot of money. And if you're just buying the stock like Peter is doing, it's again really good moves here. Good. So
I still can't get those numbers.
Which number? Oh, on the
fib.
Yeah, it's odd.
Maybe I'll have to reboot my system. I don't know, but I've played with it and nothing's working.
That's from about 8 to 16.
They were worth 8, and now they're worth 16.
Yeah.
So that's a double. I think it'll be a lot more than that.
I mean, it got in right at the open. It was actually at 6.
6 to 16. That seems a little better. If we went up to 290, those options would be worth quite a bit. If you go all the way up
to 290, it was about 16 and a half.
Peter, on TradingView, if I'm not mistaken, you have to actually go in and manually plug in the numbers that you wanted to put out.
He's on investing.com though.
No.
And they're there. And TradingView, they're automatically there as well. So if I bring the tool and put it on, and then go into the properties for it. No, it's not bringing up my settings. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Very unusual. I have to reboot, obviously. Okay. All right. So let's go back to NAS, see if we can catch it and make a trade here today.
Can I ask you a question on Tesla?
Yes.
What do you see on the 1 minute chart right now?
Okay, let's go back to Tesla. So it should be the same as NAS, so we should be looking for a little bit more down here, right? And yeah, it looks that way on the 1 minute that we have a 1, 2, 3 right here. So we've got this drop. We're chopping up and down right now. So looking for a drop to the low.
Okay, I see that. Yeah, thanks.
Right? With that, yeah, don't look at this as a 1, 2, 3 bottom here to go back up because we have a 1, 2, 3 here.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
So, and it looks like we're chopping, and this would be similar to S&P. You can see S&P, you know, got the 1, 2, 3 top. We've dropped, and they're chopping it all up in here. So we're looking for another drop to take these lows, take this low as well. And the NAS is similar, identical basically. So we're looking for another drop. So if we can be patient here, we could catch this. Let's see how Qubit is doing today. Not so great. Okay, so they're taking little chunks off.
We have FOMC at 2 o'clock.
We have news at 2 o'clock. Oh, we're getting quite the push here all of a sudden. So they just swept that low here and they're going above the high. That's interesting. So I'm looking for that another drop here, but they're not doing that. Interesting. S&P is a little bit less of a push. Let's see if Tesla is doing the same thing. Yeah, Tesla. You see what they're doing here, eh? So we've got a 1, 2. So they're not giving us a fifth wave, it looks like. So this 1, 2 could be in play now, Peter. Interesting. That's quite the turn of events all of a sudden. It was looking like we should be coming down, but sometimes they push it right up, eh? And then you get the move, but we'll see if that occurs. Still looking for them to drop it.
Prices just come back into the channel that it broke down through. So it usually does that. It'll break out of the channel, go down, and then come back and test the channel again. So
yeah,
I don't expect it to be going up.
Yeah, they're looking like they're just going to wick it here and then drop it back. But they can also fool us and just take off if they've got their quota, So so this is your typical ABC move, and are we done at this point? We've come back into this order block, and
I think we're going down.
Could be done, but I would be expecting another drop here, but they can be sneaky, so you have to be really careful.
Expecting a drop, but it's been really non-committal, so to speak. It's very slow in this down move.
Yeah, S&P is looking more weaker than the others. So there's NAS. So you see how quickly they pushed it up, make it look like it's going to go. So that wouldn't induce a lot of buyers, and so we'd have lots of liquidity down below these levels. So we could be coming back down in a hurry here. I mean, this could be a sell. I don't like it for a sell at this point though, but I'd be more inclined to wait for this drop below. That was an interesting look at the Dow, eh? Way back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lovely chart. I remember, back in the 2000s, if I just go back to the Dow for real quick here, this is quite interesting. if I go back to the monthly chart on the Dow, and back in the 2000s, early 2000, right in here, I was looking at the charts, and everybody's asking me, well, where do I see price heading? And I was saying, yeah, we could be seeing, like, this is a huge fourth wave that we're in based on the previous movements prior. This is just a fourth wave, and we should be going much higher. And it was hard for everyone to understand that kind of, we're looking at the waves, and this is 1987 here. So this is basically a 1-2 at that point, and then we're getting this big, huge move up into a fourth wave. You see how choppy, and they drop it down. So I'm saying, okay, we're going to get a 1-2 down here. We're going to be pushing back up and taking out the highs and everything and going back up. But it was very hard for people to grasp that would, because when you're in this kind of mess, it's very difficult to believe that that structure is going to play out. It just looked horrific that, this was never going to end. It's just keep going down. But
historically, Lennox, the stock market goes up the first year of a presidency. So we're good until next March, and then we should have a correction next March. Next year, after reality settles in and people start assessing what Trump has done. Yeah,
well, it does look very good for a continued push to the upside. So I'm liking it. I don't see anything negative, really. Short term, there's some short term pain, yes, but overall we should be good. I think Musk can attest to the short term pain. So they came up quite a bit higher than I would have expected here on the NAS. I mean, they coming back way into this area is just ridiculous that they do that. But they're really inducing the longs here. So now they're going to come down and take them all out. So this could be a sell. I could sell from here. So I could, looking at a low, slow here. We could look for a retrace of this move back up and a continuation down. If they even retrace, they might not even retrace because they don't really want anyone to get in now. But there is a gap here, so forming. So we could retrace back in. So that could be a sell. It's a weak sell in the sense that I don't think we're going to go down too far, but how many handles is that? About 815 to 860. Not bad. 45 handles or so. So it looks like they're going to go straight. Yeah, look at the S&P just dropping and Tesla coming back down. So yeah, they fake everybody here to go long, and Ellioticians, of course, we'll see a 1, 2, 3 here if they're counting incorrectly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that looks like that's a 5. Then you think, okay, that's it, and then you get a 1, 2. So now you're jumping in, and if you miss that, oh, I'm going to jump in again. And if you miss that, oh, I'm going to jump in again, and then you can't. Oh, doing really well, and then all of a sudden they take everybody out. So it's quite the ploy if you don't understand that this 1, 2, 3 here really only brought us to 3, and so it's not a 5, and we're looking to come down and take out this low.
So we should be still expecting a 1, 2, 3 top.
Yes, and I mean, like I said, they can come straight down without giving much of a blip here. But yeah, we would expect a little bit of a blip move down. But sometimes they don't even do it, right? They do it, but you'd have to see it on the lower time frame, on the seconds chart. So S&P, we broken already? Yes, we broken the lows on the S&P. So we're almost through that low. The final low here. So you see how they just come straight down. They're not giving anybody a chance to get in, and they're taking everybody out who went long. The NASDAQ, we haven't broken the lows yet. So at this point here, looking for a retrace, not happening. So this would be the next possible retrace, and then the last one there. So they're giving us a little bit of a retrace right now. There we go, finally. Okay. S&P, a little bit of a retrace. So S&P still hasn't broken the low, but they've taken out all these lows. NASDAQ hasn't taken these lows out yet, but we would still expect them to do that. So I'm always looking at the markets, again, to see what we're looking for. We're always looking at the markets moving in 5-wave increments. So this is all based on Elliott wave. Mr. Ralph Elliott, from the 20s, he saw the movements of the markets, and this guy charted each candle on the hourly time frame every day of the Dow. He would draw the daily candle, or the hourly candle, I should say, of the Dow, on the Dow. So if he had a candle like this, he would mark that one. Next candle, he would mark the next candle. Whatever it did, next candle, and so on. This is what he did every day on graph paper. Crazy. And then he started to see patterns, and he thought, well, these patterns look familiar. They look similar every time, and so on. Yeah, so every day he would look at his charts and he starts seeing these patterns. So he's always looking for this particular pattern. And at the end of this pattern, it would break down and then continue again. So that's the basic pattern. So the pattern that he's seen all the time is this pattern. And then breaks down and then continues. But this was the overall pattern that he saw. And so he numbered them. Wave 1, he called them waves. This was wave 1 here. Wave 2 down. Wave 3 up. Wave 4 down. Wave 5 up. And he called this one A. A wave down, B wave up, and C. So that was the pattern that he looked at. And then he started making rules. And like one of the basic, there's only 13 rules in the Elliott wave, which is kind of cool. One of the basic rules is that wave 3 is always most often the longest of the waves, and should be the longest of the waves in wave 3. But sometimes it's not, so it's not about 100% rule. And wave 4 should not go into the wave or go below the top of wave 1 here. Should not go below. So that's two of the more basic rules. Another rule is wave 1 and wave 5 are about usually the same length. So they're simple rules. So I studied this for years and years and years. I read his books over and over and over, and found that this was very logical, very sound. And that's Mr. Ken Roberts utilized just the 1, 2, 3 at this point, the 1, 2, which we now call the 1, 2, 3 because we start off with 1, and then we call this 2 and 3. In the Elliott wave, this is 1, and this is 2. So 1, 2, 3. So he would look at the 1, 2, 3 only on the weekly charts. And that's how he played. He'd look for the low for the year or the high for the year in any given commodity. And he just played the commodities. Lean hogs, gold, silver, pork bellies, that kind of stuff, corn, wheat, soybeans, all those commodities, and he would just be looking for a high for the year. So let me just go, still got some time here before this thing falls. So let's see if I go to, let me find do I have any commodities on here? Probably don't have a commodity on here, you know.
It
Unbelievable.
reminds me of when I was trading orange juice.
Okay.
It reminds me of when I was trading orange juice. I instructed my broker to roll it over at the end of a particular month, and he forgot to do it. So I given a call to take delivery.
It's a lot of orange juice coming your way.
I had to sell it to some outfit in the States.
Yeah, there's a picture of corn. Let me just see, go to the weekly here on corn. Okay, so what my mentor, Mr. Ken Roberts, with the 1, 2, 3 would do for corn, for instance, he would only look at the weekly time frame, and he's looking for low for the year or high for the year. So for the current year. So we have 2025. So there's a high there. So say it was last year, and he found this low at that point. So this low here back in August of last year. So he would then wait for a 1, 2, 3 to show itself. So he'd wait for the pullback, and then he would jump in, and then he would sit in the trade for months. Quite a powerful way to play. Very tough to sit in a trade for months, but works quite well. And it was very tough for me to do it. I was more at the time in my life. I needed the money quickly. I didn't want to be sitting around for months, so I couldn't do it that way. I had to go down to the hourly time frame. I'm looking for the money quickly, not in over months and months and months. So yeah, it was very interesting to see him do, and that's all he's looking for, that 1, 2, 3. So he's looking for the low for the year, for the whole year, and then he would do that. Very interesting. So on a high for the year, that would be the high for this year so far. He would look for a 1, 2, 3 at that point. So something like that, and he would jump in, and he would stay in this thing for the rest of the years, or for months, anyways. You know, more often than not, it was 3 months that he would stay in for. So quite interesting.
Did you buy the ruler that he recommended?
No.
Because you had to have a specific ruler.
You know, I created that wave calculator.
No, but in all his trading sessions, he brought out his infamous ruler.
I decided to create the wave calculator that would give me the targets for these waves, which is essentially the Fibonacci. So back in the day, back in the 2000s, there was nothing like this. So I created my own, and being a programmer, yeah, it was great. So for me, if I was taking this trade, I would be jumping in this area, and I'd be looking to go get out at 1.618. So not bad trade there. But to stay in for that long is very tough. You'd be staying in from essentially, let's see. So we got in on October, and we will be getting out somewhere in February, January, maybe January. So that's about, yeah, that's about a 3-month stay, approximately.
We're at 2 o'clock now, Lennox.
Okay, so we're at the algo.
I don't know.
Algo 10. Okay, wow. So they're still not dropping it down there, eh? Oh my, this is quite interesting.
Playing around with this, it's
Wow, they're really playing around.
channel.
So okay, so we've got some divergence here. So I'm expecting them to drop through this low, and they're not doing it. So
Yeah,
S&P is swept, and now we're sweeping the high. So this could be the bottom, and they're not taking this low out. Interesting. That's the S&P. So the NAS, we see we have that complete divergence here.
we're in an algo move right now, really.
So there's divergence right here because we did not take out that low, and on the S&P we took out the low. So the S&P was giving us the truth here, but they didn't take out the low. Let's see what Tesla did. Tesla did completely different. So they're not even coming back at all. So at this point here, we would expect them to come down a little further. And it's just so very unusual movements here. So it looks like they're trying to mess everybody up here. Let's see how it looks on the 5 here. Okay, so it still looks like this is a 4th wave, right?
Yeah.
So I think they're still going to drop it. They're just fooling everybody here to go along. So I got a 1, 2, 3 here, drop, and now they chop it. So it's usually, that's what they do. They drop it, they chop it, and then they drop it again. That's our typical chart. So they move it up, they chop it, and then they continue. They move it down, they chop it, and then they continue. That's the pattern. They do this over and over and over again. And you can see it. They do it here. They drop it. They drop it down. They chop it back up. They do it again. Chop it. So we should drop down. So I'm going to look to sell it now at this point, because now I have further down to go. So this would be a nice sell at this point to come back. I could be wrong again, right? Because this could have been the bottom, but it looks more like a 4th wave to me, and that they're going to come back down. So I would take the risk at this point and sell from here. So I need to get taken out this high and see how the S&P is doing. S&P has not taken out that high yet. And Tesla is turning back down. So sometimes Tesla is leading the way here and pointing us in the direction that they really want to go. So it's good to watch Tesla. I've noticed now that they sometimes go ahead of the indices. And Tesla is big in the indices, right? So its weighting is quite large in the indices. So all right, so looking for a 1, 2, 3 top here. So it's good for me to look at my seconds chart here and see if I can make heads or tails of this top.
Lennox, did you ever buy Larry Williams' The Money Tree?
I have some Larry Williams books, and there's a Bill Williams as well. I've got some of his books, but I don't have the Money Tree one. No. Yeah, you've got that one. It's a good read.
Yeah, I remember reading it. Yeah, I've read a lot of books like you and tried to get the gist out of each one.
I think I showed you guys that Larry Williams was one of the great traders. I mean, he had one of the best ever return in that huge global trading contest.
Yeah.
Something like 10,000% return or something ridiculous like that. I think he won it in the early 2000s or something like that, I believe, or late 90s. And his strategy is so simple. That's what I love about it. All right, so we're looking for a turnaround now, back down, right?
Yes.
So can we get a 1, 2, 3 here?
I got my first lot over with, so I'm looking to move my stop down to break even.
You're in already, George?
Pardon?
You're in already?
Yeah.
No playing around, eh?
But it's so, I just don't like the action that we're getting though. I haven't moved my stop down yet because it's not falling the way I would like it to fall.
Well, they're just chopping right now in a fourth wave, so I think they're going to go and take out these highs one more time before we come down. So look for these highs to be taken because we got equal highs. So they like equal highs and equal lows, so we could see them going back through. So we are in the algo mode, but nothing algo-ish going on yet.
Well, the algo was the up move that we have. We actually,
Very small.
it was a small one, yes.
Yeah.
But, being that we're in wave 4, that's can be understood. The actual wave went up, and as soon as right now it just popped above VOP.
Yeah, that's what I'm expecting them to take those highs out.
Yeah.
So now we would want to be looking for.
Yeah, it just took me out.
Yeah, it's tough to hide up there. We need them to break this low coming back down now. Get that. So where are they going? They're going up to this gap up here.
Yeah, you know what I think it is that the consolidation in there, they're still literally in the algo.
Yeah, let me just, I'm just going to refresh my screen just 1 sec.
Okay.
I'm just going to see if I can get my settings to show up here. And maybe refreshing might help. Again, let me try. I'm going to just see if I can get my settings to work. There we go. Okay. So extend the fair value gap. Okay, that's what I wanted to do. Or not. Yeah, that's why I didn't do it, because it makes a mess of the screen. So that's why I had it unchecked. Okay. Yeah. Don't need to do that. I'll do them myself. So I only have my fair value gaps painting if it's occurring at a specific point in time. So this gap here we should be retracing back down. Now, of course, I could be sitting here all day waiting for them to retrace, and they could just continue going, right? But we have to believe in our structure. So if I believe in my structure, I'm looking for them to come back down, right? So this is where it becomes really hard. So this is what you need to be on the higher time frame to see. So I've got a 1, 2, 3 here. So this drop in A, B, C, D, and E. So I'm looking for them to come back down and take out all these lows. This is the same pattern that's on the 4-hour time frame. So if I go up to the 4-hour time frame, it's the same pattern. Like we came down, and then they chop it up and down. I'm looking for them to come down and take out all these lows. It's the exact same pattern. It's just, they of course they make it it's longer and bigger wicks and tails and bodies and so forth, because we're on the 4-hour. So at this point, I'm looking for a 1, 2, 3 here to come down. So we're just looking for a 1, 2, 3 at this point. So it's the same thing that I'm doing now on the 1-minute time frame. I'm looking for at the top of this drop, this move up. Sorry, I'm looking for a 1, 2, 3 here to come down. So let's see if that plays out. So this would be our change of character, market structure shift, we call it. So I've got a fractal here. So I could have jumped in on the fractal right there. That was a missed. Just by going up to the 4-hour there, I just missed a nice entry. So I like this entry here, because I get a fractal and a breach of that middle candle is a sell. My risk is very small at that point. So that's my favorite entry of all. And reason I like the entry, we come up into a gap. We've swept previous highs here, and we get a fractal. So this fractal, which is a high with 2 lower highs, that gives me, as soon as this low, the candles open or low, or close or low, in this case close or low, is taken, that's a sell. So my risk at that point is very tiny. So I take that risk every day, every minute of the day. I would take that risk because it's so small, and you catch a quick move. You could take profits off right there.
Otherwise known as a swing high.
I'm sorry?
Otherwise known as a swing high.
Otherwise known as a swing high or swing low, yes. Okay, so looking for this gap here, possible retrace back into that gap. So this is the more patient way to do the trade. You wait for entries back into, so this here is a inverted gap. because we were going up when this gap formed, and now we're coming down. So it can now act as resistance and bring price back down. We want to see them break this low first and then go back up though. So, but if they did push back to this guy at this point, I would take the trade without even waiting for this move and a retrace, because I would be in early again. So if they did that, I would take the trade at that point. I don't set the my limit orders. I like to just go in at market, but you can certainly set limit orders. So if I push in here, looking for that. So are we going to push? Looks like we should go up there. A little bit more. Here we go. So I'll take that sell there, right at midpoint of that gap. So they can still come down, take this low and push back in and still drop it. But I'm getting in hopefully at a good early entry. So my stop would be above the high. And yeah, let's see if I'm correct here, and we'll fall.
Not a lot of buy strength. Good. Almost seems like it's more than usual.
Tesla's very choppy. We're looking for Tesla to break these guys. Not coming down in a hurry here.
No, I know. And usually by this time it takes my first lot off.
He's gone above the gap. Interesting. So they're looking to take the high again. I wouldn't think they should do that, but
I was kind of looking like it would be the right shoulder would be forming now.
The difference between a Virgo and a Gemini, since they're both.
I hear a radio playing. Please mute yourself. Thank you. Oh, Omar is with us. Omar Armin is with us. Gentlemen, good day.
Good day.
Yes, sir.
Another day in the markets with the diehards.
Yes, sir.
It's humbling to have you all join me. Listen to some guy rant and rave about
You're our master.
Blue sticks on a chart.
Oh, there.
I thought we came for the ranting and raving.
Yeah, it's
just for the rave. All right, getting a nice move here. I'm going to take a little something off at this point, just because I can.
Spot taken off.
take a partial right there because I'm still expecting them to retrace. They haven't retraced yet. Okay. So this was where we wanted to see them break. Want to see a retrace now, and then another drop. So this would be the real 1-2 at this point. Not that this is not a real 1-2, but this one now would be more powerful if we can catch this one to come down. Because if you miss this one, you get a second opportunity, and for the big drop. So now I would be looking for a retrace back in again, and I could add some more to my kitty here, to my position. So I need this candle to close, which is going to close in about 5 seconds here.
I'd like to see a good drop at this point.
So I still have my inverted gap right there. So I'm still looking for them to come back into the inverted gap. But there's also a bigger gap. So if they come back up again, I would add to my position here. And they almost did it. And very close, and we're in, and a little bit more. Whoa. I was looking for one more tick, and they're probably not going to give it to me. I might have missed my chance to jump in again. Wow. So they just touched it. I was looking for one more tick. That happens a lot. I'm trying to be too precision.
I missed it also.
My wife would be so mad with me right now. What are you doing? Just take the trade. Just get in. She would say, just get in. Stop nickel and diming yourself. Okay, they give me a second chance perhaps here. Okay, let's see if they go in this time. Still nickel and diming myself. I could just take it there. One more time, up, and a little bit more. There we go. Go to the middle of that gap. So sometimes a little patience, you get it. Right, Joe? Just get in. Stop nickel and diming, right? She agrees here. She says, Yeah, okay. So let's see if that holds for us. And we come screaming back down.
Took out my first lot.
Tesla's slowly coming down. So Tesla's got a nice 1, 2, 3 now. So we're looking for that to come down. They've taken that low. Next bunch of lows. Then this one. And then finally the low. So that's the trajectory. Will we be correct? Hopefully here. S&P.
Oh, Jesus, it just took me out again.
Oh, you have your stop too tight there, George.
Yeah, well, I had my one lot on, and
I see. You moved to break even.
so I moved it to break even.
Yeah, I don't like moving to break even. It's too early yet. I would need to see them.
It's volatile enough.
Yeah, they have to break
Well,
this low.
ATR is only about 16 right now, but
If they can come down and break this low.
Around so much in here.
Yeah, they're hanging around up there too long. I don't like that. They need to get out of there.
No, that's it.
So I want to see them breach this low, and at that point I can move my stop down. But I still wouldn't go to break even. I still would kind of hang around. I could move my stop down a little bit, but at this point I don't expect them to come back up here anyway. So it doesn't really matter if I move my stop. So I'd like to see them continue.
That's what came up quite a bit. Let's see if we can get below the most recent low.
Big red candles here.
We need about a good 50, 60 point handle drop. Instead of this just going down a little bit and then coming back up to the starting point again. Look at that.
Wow, that's quite a pullback. They're really giving people a chance to get in. Okay, next time I have to take some off because I can't be letting this kind of profits come. You know, you're up almost 1,400 or whatever, and you let it come all the way back down to less than $100. That's ridiculous.
I know.
So you need them to break this low here.
Well, it hasn't been able to do that yet.
Yeah, they're really playing around. I'm not sure why.
Right now, you would almost call it a head and shoulders with a double head. Which are kind of rare to see. Guess I really can't call it unless it gets past that previous low at the bottom of the second head.
Wow, come on. Okay, I'm taking some off right there. These are playing around too much. So they did go through finally. Okay, now I can bring my stop down a little bit. But not too tight still, because I don't like the way they're playing around here. They need to just drop.
They need to just really make a couple of nice drops.
You still haven't taken out this low.
Yeah, that's the low I'm looking for them to take out.
So let's see it on the 5 minute. So the 5 minute looks good. The 5 minute looks quite good that we should continue straight down. So sometimes it's best to just get off the 1 minute and go up higher and not go back to the 1 minute and just watch it on the higher time frame. That way you don't get mesmerized by all the movements. You know, you get all this movement
I know.
and you start freaking out. But on the 5 minute, it takes
tells
5
you
minutes
what
for each candle.
Okay, it finally broke through that and then it returned high again.
Yeah, that's why I took some off, just in case they did that again, because I don't know why they're hanging around so long up there.
That's what's bothering me. What are they hanging in there for?
I think Peter has a lifeline to the market makers there. Peter, you can make a quick call, find out why they're doing.
Yeah, I'll let you know what they say.
Look at that.
Yeah, they're really hanging around. Not much of an algo.
No. In fact, it's
You
not
need
even
some red candles like this. Two.
wow.
Hmm.
I
Okay.
do not like
What?
this at all.
Okay. So I see. So we have a high here. We don't want to break that high. But sometimes they do that just to be mean. They'll take this high out.
Yep.
A lot of people put their stops here. That's why I didn't want to bring my stop down too much, because they can quickly take these guys out here. And then they'll leave. So maybe they just haven't had their quota. And that's why they're going back up. So that high is in jeopardy right there. So I've got a lot of stuff in here.
Yep.
You see, they took
That's
that high out. Now they better not take me out, because I've moved my stop down a little bit there. So let's see if we can continue down now. Now that they've swept this high, they might move fast now.
They went up over 10 handles, 12 handles. Wow.
Also looks like a fourth wave. So I could be taken out.
Fourth wave.
So am I totally incorrect that we're coming down? Because now this is looking like a fourth wave, you see? So it's possible that I'm wrong wave. And they're going to take me out.
It looks like a fourth wave to me.
Mm-hmm. Quite interesting all of a sudden. So I'm calling this the top, but it could just be a fourth wave, and we go through one more time.
Yep.
Which is a very sneaky play on their part, because from here I've got 1, 2, so this becomes 3. This is 4, so it looks like that's what they're doing. Wow. Very interesting.
Oh, Lennox?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yeah, I wanted to make a comment because if you look on Bitcoin 5 minute, it did look like a fourth wave on the Bitcoin 5 minute, just like the NAS.
Looks like I'm in jeopardy here on the NAS, so it's a good thing I brought my stop down. So looking for them to continue down. That's why they're not continuing down, because the ploy is this is a fourth wave and we're actually heading to the upside. Okay, so let me see Bitcoin on the 5 minute. Yes, fourth wave, and we're looking to push up. So there's the 1, 2, 3, and then we go the A, B, C, D, E. 1, 2 again, another 1, 2, and then we're pushing out to take out these highs and this high. So Bitcoin is pushing to the upside. So does that mean that then indices should follow suit? Maybe, right?
Yes, they tend to follow each other.
They tend
sometimes.
To. Sometimes.
Yes.
So it's not all the time. So I'm still looking at this as this move. Still expecting this move. But in here, somebody's got something on. Omar, I have to mute you. Thank you. Yeah. Your microphone's making a lot of noise. Sorry.
This thing dropped a big candle, and now it's retracing it.
Yeah, sometimes, like on the 5 minute here, it looks really good that we've got a 1, 2, and we should drop. But on the 1 minute, it looks like they're thinking about pushing through to take out the highs one more time before they drop it down one more time. So that's still a possibility here. And it looks like they're going to take me out.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So this becomes a 1, 2. I could have gotten out with profit right there, but I switched charts, so missed that opportunity. Okay, so it looks like they're going to push back to the upside here. Interesting. I don't want to really buy that though. It is a buy, but not really liking that so much. I don't think they're going to. Well, maybe they might go farther than I'm thinking.
And they might not.
So quite interesting in here. Let me get rid of all this stuff out of here. So this inverted gap is no longer in force. This one is no longer in fourth. So very sneaky playing here on their part. So this is really a fourth wave. They sweep the low, they go up, they sweep the high, they drop back in. This is a buy here to go up. So if I was still on it, I would have exited right here and turned and bought to go up. So that was the reason why they weren't coming down in a hurry, is because we're in a fourth wave. So it looked very good at first that we were done, because it looks pretty good, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that we should just come down. But they said, no, we're fooling you. We're going the opposite way. So they're very good. So I get another chance now to get in. I could take the long at this point. Is
I
it
don't
worthwhile?
think it's a good indication that they want to go long in.
Mm-hmm. Oops.
I mean, that's what they're doing, but I don't know that it has that good of a legs to it.
So it looks like this could have been the bottom here, and they didn't break down through this low. Quite interesting. So from this point here, we got 1, 2 on the S&P, 1, 2, 3, 4, but we do not break the low, so we don't get our fifth leg, which is what we're looking for. On the NASDAQ, it's the same. We don't get a fifth leg here. Interesting. So do we still get it is the question. Do we still get this move back down or not? Because now they're pushing up into the second wave area, which is not what we really want to see. So are we going to be done and coming back down again, or do we continue? Since they didn't give us the fifth wave here.
Well, they've gone up 40 handles already. Because we were as low as 60, and now we're at we've hit the 100 level.
Wow, this is tough because it's just pure trickery here now going on. I didn't really want to buy this long because I don't think they're going to go up very high. So we've swept now. Where did they go to? Just to the order block here. There's nothing else for them to go to on the 5 minute. There's nothing else for them to go to on the 1 minute. And it's just a wick here. So we should be coming back down. So this would be my low takeout here. And next. Let's take a look at Bitcoin again. Bitcoin's done 5 waves up already. So what's Bitcoin doing? Is it going to take out that high? Or we would expect that this high would be taken based on our structure. On the 5 minute, we would expect that high to be taken out. $15-minute. $30-minute. $1 hour. Very choppy stuff. We're in a very choppy affair. 4 hour. Very choppy. Okay. So it's always, again, really good to get an idea of where you are on the chart, because if you don't, you can get caught in all the fluff. So we are in a 4th wave on Bitcoin here.
Yeah.
We swept the low. They are pushing to go back up to take out all these highs. So the movement and strength is to the upside. Look at our 4-hour candle. We opened, we got into a tail, and now we're pushing up to take out the previous highs. So everything's pointing to a strong move to the upside for Bitcoin. So I'm going to look at NAS again in the same level. NAS is also, again, we're looking for NAS to push up, but in the short term, where we're looking for a one drop to get in. So that's what's going on. Are we going to get that drop? They're making it very difficult for us. So we're looking for NAS to go up, yes, but I was looking for one drop to take out these lows first and then to go, right? That was the whole ploy here and here. They thought they would do it here, but they didn't. Okay, here, nope. So here or not, they might not even do it at all, right? And we just continue. So this is the problem we have right now. All right, so we've got a nice 1, 2, 3 top right now. Is that sufficient to bring us down, or are they going to buy to take out this high one more time? So we've got.
I can't tell. I mean, at this point, I really don't know because
It looks like we should take the high out.
Strength.
S&P looks the same. Looks like we should take that high out. So that's the structure. That's what's going on. They sweep it. They sweep here, get the move up, retrace, another move up, retrace, another sweep. So we should get another move above. So at this point, if we get that move up, then a 1, 2, and then coming back down, or do they continue going? This is a good one. So in the short term here, I'm looking for them to take this high. Same thing with the NAS. So the exact same pattern. So we've got a 1, 2 in here. So I'm looking for them to go up, take that high. Otherwise, they'll take this low first. So it looks like they're going to take the high.
We have a 5 minute 1, 2, 3 bottom on the 5 minute chart potentially. Tesla.
Wow, look at that move, eh? So we're really looking for them to turn over one more time and go down, but they're saying no, they don't want to do that. They don't want to come. So all they did was sweep here. I was expecting that they would come down and take out the lows, but they said no. So now they're pushing back to the upside. So we're having serious breaches of structure to the upside now.
Yep.
So can we expect them to come back down? Maybe not. You know, I was it's looking pretty good that we should do that. We could still do it.
Yeah, they could still do it.
We do have a gap here. So I'm not giving up on that. It's just that they're doing it in a roundabout way. So we're getting that move. We could come up into this gap. I think this gap has been taken out. Yeah. So we could come up into this gap and then still fall. That would still give us our nice structure.
I agree.
So that's still a possibility. Or otherwise, this is the low. That would give us a 1 A, B, C, and then we're getting a 1, 2, and we're heading out and not coming back at all. So this could be a low here because we're breaking this high, closing above it. So we could move up, retrace, and continue. So a couple of scenarios here can play out, right? So let's call this a low, and then this is a 1, 2, and we're pushing up. So at this point here would be a buy opportunity to go long from on this retrace, or it's a buy opportunity at this point to continue going long. So it's an interesting one at this point now. So look at S&P, it's bucking the trend. It's going above and into the 1, 2, 3 here. So we've gone way past and into. So I don't like that. So it's saying that this is the bottom, when I was expecting another drop here. Let's see how the NAS is reacting. So NAS is also in that area, not liking that too much, but we could still drop. So this is the interesting part. We're coming into the last hour of the day.
Yeah, that's the
They
problem.
can still take it back down. And Bitcoin is bucking the trend, and it's not really going with a lot of gusto here, but we still would expect that to take that high out. I'm going to mark that high. We would still expect Bitcoin to take this high. Anybody familiar with that TV show called Malcolm in the Middle?
Yep, familiar with it.
You are? I've never.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen it, or watched it or anything. But my son just got a part on it.
It's not. I thought it was out of.
Nope, they revived it or something.
Oh, they're making a comeback of it.
Yeah. Yeah, he just landed a part in it. So it's pretty. He's pretty happy.
That's cool.
Okay, so here we are. We're getting a top. Looks like we got a top now, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sweep. Need a sweep of this low.
See something more than this.
And then that's what I'm looking for. This drop coming back down. So I'm holding to that. It's just that, boy, they really tricked us down here, because it looked like we were going to go through at this level, and they said, nope, not going to do that. We need to come back up and get more orders cheaper before we do this. So should I take a sell from here? We're right up at the top here. I got a fractal. Take a sell from here just to see if I can get a ride down from this level. I have to come back above to take me out. So there was a very tiny gap there, inverted, very small. They almost touched it. Nice move. So let me take a partial while I can. Can I do it fast enough? Yeah, good. Okay. So that gives me a quick profit made up for my stop out there. Bring my stop down a little bit, but not too, well, I could bring it down quite a bit actually. I'll bring it down, but not into positive still. Bring it right to that level. Okay, let's see if we can continue now. So we've broken change of character here. So another retrace. Let me just bring this guy over here. Oh, got a gap here.
3 down, good sized bars.
This could be a nice drop if we're correct, but Bitcoin's still going up. Interesting. So Bitcoin's bucking the trend and going up still. This guy here is, yeah, I'm going to take this one off. So, oops, looking for a retrace back up into this gap. We'd take profit down below, right back down to this gap down here. So looking for a retrace, don't know if they're going to give it to us or not.
I just assume they go down and give me some money.
I'd add to my position if I could get a retrace, but if not, that's fine.
They've done enough putzing around.
They're not retracing. That's what I was expecting them to do over here, just come straight down like that. But they said no, we're in a fourth wave. So we would expect this move still. So the next blow to be taken would be this guy.
Just to give me a good down right now, be fine.
No retrace whatsoever.
That's all right by me. I'm only a handle away from taking a profit.
Yeah, I think I'll take the profit here. and look for a retrace. They should bounce back up. I might be wrong, and they'll just continue straight down without me, but I'm looking for a retrace here. But I didn't want to give up the profit. So I'm looking for a bounce off this back up. Where would they go back up to? Let's go about do it the wrong way here.
I'll tell you, you're not going to give it to me.
There's 50% right back up here.
Touched me, and then it went back up without giving it to me.
Let's see if they go back up 50%. They might. They might not.
You don't have any gaps there for it to go into. Well, there's one really high, but that's more than 50%.
Yeah, so taking the profit here rather than having the drawdown, reducing your profits, take the profit off and look for the retrace, get back in again to come back down. So see if we can go up a little higher, almost at 50%, but looking to come back into this gap. So one more push to take out this high and take us into the gap. That was close, but not quite. They went about 50% up. So this move here is about 50%.
Took me in, and it brought me down about 10 handles to give me my first profit. But I don't want to pull my stop down too far because it looks like it wants to go back up again.
Yeah, we should take out this last high here and go into this gap. That's what I'm looking for. Even just a touch.
It might not, because Bitcoin has already swept the low.
Trying to pull it up, but it doesn't at this point. So we're into that last hour.
Get one more push. You're saying no, Omar?
Oh, I was saying that according to how Bitcoin is moving, it might not go back up there, because Bitcoin, that low there, Bitcoin would have swept it already. But it still can.
Yeah, it might have been as close as they come. So I'm just noticing. I just noticed this just now. I might have missed my opportunity, and reason why. I just noticed this, and this is something that you have to really pay attention to. There's a gap right here, a regular gap.
That's
See
the
that?
one I got in.
Yeah, that's a regular gap. I just noticed that. Wow. So it was sitting in the regular gap. It wouldn't go any higher.
That's
My seconds chart was showing a fourth wave here. So I was expecting one more push above, but there's a regular gap here. I just noticed. So that might have stopped it from going any further.
why won't this thing just start falling?
Interesting. We can still push back up, but
Yeah,
that's-
it's pushing back up again. I should have moved my target up.
But it's starting to look like a fourth wave now, so they could still clear the highs again.
we can still get up there, but it's a little tougher now because they dropped it down so far. So it might be, if you want to get in to go down, it might be they might not break this high again. My seconds chart is trying really hard to come back up and take that high out.
God, they're doing it again.
$315. I'll see you there.
Who are you asking for? Who are you asking for?
I'm sorry, I was just making a date with my wife there for 315.
Oh.
She's off to play bridge. She's a bridge aficionado. She's an expert bridge player. I get a wry laugh.
How come you couldn't turn her into a trader?
Yeah, she's a little terrified of trading.
Well, it's good to have a little fear.
Yeah, you have to have a little respect for this stuff. It's no respect to persons, that's for sure. Okay, I'm looking for them to come back up here. So you can see what's happening right now. I've got a 1-2. So this drop, they're chopping it, you see? So we would expect that move back up and then a drop. So can we get that to take out these highs here? But had I noticed this gap the first time, which I didn't notice, I might have jumped in at that point because that's not such a bad area to get in. But you have to have your stop up here. So I'd rather them come back
That's
up
where I got in, and I
here.
got a good one, but I didn't get my second one.
Yeah, this is better for us to get it coming back up here because then your stop can be above here and it's not so in the open, as it were. So will they come back up one more time is the question now. Where are my 4-hour candles?
This hour of the day, I hope they just go drop it. This is the problem time of day for me. You do nicely at this hour of the day, but boy, I have so much problems with it.
It's a slow time. We're coming into the 3:15 macro. The three.
Oh, we just finished the map.
We just finished the 10 minutes to macro to the 10 minutes after macro, and then the 15-minute after macro starts till 1:45. That one's a very slow moving one though, most of the time. So I'm still looking for them to take out this high and push into this gap. And that would present a nice sell. I could put a limit order on.
They have the
Let me do a limit order.
definitely trying to do something like that, but it's not. You know, it's not all there. I mean, it's kind of a messy signal.
See if that will hit. I'll put a sell limit one tick below that gap. See if it will hit. And I'll get my sell ready just in case it doesn't. We've taken out that high. Will they go higher? Excuse me. We go higher into this gap here. And we should, because we have a 1, 2, 3 here. So I think I could put my sell limit even higher. A quarter of the way in. Bitcoin's still pointing to the upside. There we go. I'm in. So my orders hit and they went to the middle of the gap so far. So I could have put it to the middle of the gap. It was a tempting one to put it in the middle, but I didn't know if they're, and look, they're going right up through the gap. So hopefully that's as far. I expect them not to go. I'm using that word hopefully again. I'm expecting them not to go through this gap. They can wick through it, but we just want to see them turn around now and come back down.
If Bitcoin is going up, then probably the NASDAQ will follow.
And yeah, but we should be turning back now on the NAS here. They've gone through this gap. They come up into this order block. So this better be the extent of the move here. Otherwise, I'm in trouble. And wow, they look like they want to go right through. That's interesting. Am I stopped too tight? Yeah, maybe too tight for my stop. So I didn't expect them to come through the gap, or at least not go through the order block, but they haven't really gone. Oh, they did a little bit. So they're again fooling us.
They took my stop.
Yeah. Should my stop have been above the high? Or am I totally wrong and we're going straight up?
Ah, boy.
Interesting.
Well, if you look at that 5-minute Bitcoin setup. It's suggesting that they should continue up on Bitcoin, that is, but they might follow suit on the NAS.
Okay, and S&P has taken the high. NASDAQ has not taken the high, so we could be getting divergence. I understand Bitcoin's moving up, but Bitcoin can march to a different drummer sometimes. So
Yeah.
yes, we do have a 1, 2, 3, and I'm expecting them to take that high out. I thought I marked that high. Did I not mark that high?
They're in. Why do you want them to?
Oh, it's on the 5-minute high. Okay, so the 5-minute high, sorry. The 5-minute. I'm expecting Bitcoin to take this high. Oops, that's a not very good line. To take this high here, certainly, on this move. But it doesn't mean that the NASDAQ has to do the same. Yes, they do move in tandem sometimes, but sometimes they don't either. So, like yesterday was a great example. I was making a killing in Bitcoin, and NASDAQ was doing nothing but messing everybody up. So here we have some divergence at this point because the NAS cannot take the high. You use the trend line. NASDAQ cannot take the high here, but the S&P did. So there's definite divergence here. So what is it telling us? S&P is a little stronger right here. NASDAQ's a little weaker right here. So did they do this on purpose just to take everybody out up here, and then now we're going to get the down move, or is this still in a move that's going to take us up to take out the high, right? So it's a bit tricky here. So this gap didn't hold. So I'll keep the gap there because it could be turned into an inverted gap that might become resistance. Right now it's acting as support. This one didn't matter. So since I have a 1, 2, 3 bottom, I would be expecting this move. S&P, same thing. I'll be expecting another move to take out the highs here. And it's doing that. And Bitcoin's moving up. So they're all in tandem. Tesla. Wow, Tesla is doing the same thing. You can see it's the same pattern at that point as well. So we've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're pushing up. Will they go to take this high? It doesn't look so. It looks more like we should falter and come back down. This is indicative of a fourth wave, right? So this is still holding as a fourth wave on Tesla. So I'm still looking for that kind of move. S&P has changed completely now. So they're taking out the high. We busted our structure because the structure should have been down, but they didn't do that. They went back up. So now I was expecting them to come down from here. They say no, they're still going to go up. So they really busted the structure here. So I'm not sure what to make of this, except that we would be looking to take this high out next. This would become a huge 1, 2, and then we're heading up. So that's the total possibility. So let's go higher on the S&P on the 15. So it's saying that's what's going on. So this was our low, made this move up. This is done, and we're on our way to the upside to take out the highs. So I have to go with that because they're not giving us that move back down that I was expecting. So our expectations have been blown out of the water, essentially. And I mean, all they had to do was give us this a breach of this low, and then we would be good to go. You know, we would be fine because we would be, our structure would have said, yes, this is how we want to see it and we want to go. But they're not doing it that way, so it kind of makes it a muddled affair. Giving us this flat area and not going through really messes us up because our structure says we should be falling through, but it doesn't. So now they start leaving, and you have to start second guessing yourself and wondering, okay, what's going on? Why are they doing what they're doing? And obviously they've got enough quota to take this out. So they sweep here, and they're starting to go again. So you have to change and go with the flow. My expectations are shattered. I thought we would come into here first and then go, but they're doing it before they even do the drop, right? So you have to go with them. So you got to go along. That's all there is to it.
I still have.
So now they've taken out the high. So there's beautiful 1, 2, 3 bottom that we should have been going long in, but they really made it look like they were going to drop it more. So it's very, very smart on their part. Very good. And this is what makes this game tough. And why you need to have stops in, because if you don't, you can get killed. So I'm looking for a retrace now. Will they give us a retrace to come back? So you are correct, Omar. It's following suit with the NAS, with Bitcoin. But Bitcoin's not really moving very fast, but it's made a nice move though. The expected move. So Bitcoin, like yesterday, was doing exactly what I expected it to do. And today it's doing exactly what I expected it to do. So it's doing the structure properly. We get the nice 1, 2, 3 here. After a breach, you know, after 5 waves down, everything's just perfect. So this is just doing the structure perfectly. So really, I should be playing Bitcoin and forgetting about NAS, because the NAS is not doing what I'm expecting. So this is something that you have to think about when you're trading as well. Okay, the NAS is not making sense to me, so maybe I should switch to Bitcoin. So now we have to look for a retrace of this move to continue. So can we get a retrace of this entire move if this is the top at this point? So are we at the top? Maybe it looks close. We could go up one more time here. Where are we going to? Taking out this high. They've taken that high out already. So that's a sweep. That's a break of structure. Sweep. NASDAQ has not even come close to that high yet. So they're both doing different things. So we could get, again, divergence here. This gap doesn't matter. So everything was messed up because we just didn't get that one last leg down into this gap that I was expecting price to do. So it kind of messes everything up. So all this time I'm expecting it to come down, and they still don't do it. So obviously they've got their quota and they're good to go. So I've got on the 5-minute time frame this gap here, so I'll look for them to come back into this gap, and I'll buy into the close to continue going up. Take out these liquidity levels up here. So they're very good. They're very smart. They're very sneaky, and you have to be able to be flexible and go along with them.
That is a NAS, Lennox?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, where they came down to in the middle there was the previous daily low. So they swept the previous daily low and then they turned back, formed the 1-2 and then turned back.
Without giving us the fifth wave. Interesting.
Oh, right there.
Mm-hmm.
Right in the middle there.
In this area?
Yes, right there. So that was a previous daily low.
So I'm looking for a nice retrace here. Will they give it to us into this gap? It could go one more time. Dead on the previous daily low. So our current daily bar opens and gave us the tail. And now we're looking to move up to take out the previous daily high. Or are we? We can just go a halfway too. I'm looking for this to be a 1-2 here to continue down. So just in the same way that we just had this move that I'm looking for them to take out these lows on the 1-minute time frame, maybe they won't do this. They won't do that either. Maybe they'll just continue going up from here. That's possible. That this could be the bottom, and I'm expecting them to drop it one more time, and they could do the same thing to us on a bigger time frame. So it is a possibility that this I'm looking for this move, drop, consolidation, drop. I'm looking for that, but maybe they'll say, we're just going to do the same thing we just did on the 1-minute and not give these guys this move down and just continue back up. I have to go with the structure. Structure says I should be looking for them to come back down. So
You could draw a channel out of that last chart, the wave 4 channel.
in the daily,
Well, whatever that chart there,
yeah,
that's a channel, a wave 4 channel.
yeah, going up.
Yeah.
So what they did to us on the 1-minute is exactly the same pattern. I was looking for that drop, and they didn't give it to us. So,
Yeah.
they're very good at sneaking these moves in. I mean, here again, they didn't give us a fifth wave. We dropped down. I'm expecting that we should come down, take out this low. And they say, no, we're not doing that. So they're very conniving. So right now I'm looking for a drop into the gap here. So can we get that? Could take out this low here. Maybe down to 50%. Right down to 50% almost. Looks like they're going to touch it. Yep. So that should suffice. We should turn around here. So I'll be looking for a fractal. I've got a fractal. Wow, that was quick. That was really quick. So I'll take that fractal by, stop below, and look for a continuation back up. Let's see if I'm correct on that one. Looks good on the 5 that should occur. But they've tricked us so much today. Now I'm believing that they're going to go long, and now they could say, you know what, we decided that after all you were correct, and this was really a fourth wave that you were in all the time, and we're going to go down anyways and take out these lows. So I could get fooled by being right, and then you start doubting your analysis.
You could draw another channel here.
Yeah, because they push up so high, you know, they push up so far, you start thinking, okay, wait a minute, maybe I'm totally wrong here. And they're not going to come down. And then they say, no, you were actually correct. We're coming down.
You could draw another wave 4 channel here, Lennox.
Indeed, and it's very disconcerting, because that's what I'm saying. I could be correct, and my expectation for them to drop it here or here or here, they don't do it, and then they say, oh, you should have waited one more time because that's when we were going to do it, you know. So will they actually push back up to take out these highs, or am I just totally off base? So right now I've got a 5-wave move, so I'm looking for a bounce here to go back up. Will I get it? Maybe not.
Let it go down some more before it goes back up.
Look at that, they're looking to take me out. I'm down below the gap. Tempting to add to my position at this point, but I'll leave it at that just in case that I am totally wrong and they're going to come through. So right now we have a beautiful, beautiful 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ABC structure. So the logical move should be to the upside.
Has anyone ever looked at?
Push down.
Sorry, Omar?
Oh, yes, sorry. Has anyone ever looked at Stacy Burke trading?
I have, yes.
Oh, what? Well, he's doing something that it's kind of similar to the Elliott wave theory, but he doesn't mention the Elliott wave theory. But what he calls it, the pump and dump.
Yes.
Or the dump and pump.
Yes.
Which is the reverse.
Yes.
What do you make of it?
Well, you know, there's so many traders out there on YouTube, and there's so many ways to skin the cat, as they say, right? So there's so many different strategies and ways of playing the game. It works.
Yeah, what makes it interesting is that I'm realizing that it aligns with the Elliott wave.
With the Elliott wave, yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of the traders, when I'm watching their stuff, they're not looking at Elliott waves, but I see the structure, and they don't see this. They're not looking at it that way, so they don't see the structure. But I can see ahead of what they're saying, or in line with what they're saying, and so forth. So yeah, Stacy Burke's using the dump and pump strategy. Yeah.
It seems pretty interesting, but I haven't fully grasped what he's saying, because what he also does is he uses a cycle theory to do his thing. So he says Monday to Wednesday, that's like one cycle, and then
Yes.
Wednesday to Friday is another cycle.
Yes.
But
and it's similar, like you're saying, to like if this is Monday here, you would have a down, and then Tuesday goes up, and then Wednesday comes back down, Thursday goes back up, and then Friday comes back down, type of thing. So it is that pattern that we tend to look at as the Elliott wave in a nutshell. Yes.
It seems interesting, but
oh yeah, very. I mean, again, there's so many traders out there doing so many different things. And everybody's convinced that their way is either the best or definitely viable. So I look at everyone, and if there's something that I can augment the 1, 2, 3 with, I would think of what I've done with the ICT, fair value gaps and order blocks. That's been profound. It's just cemented the 1, 2, 3 more so than anything else. Looks like they're trying to take me out here. I don't have my stop at the. Just gonna say I don't have my stop where I'm supposed to have my stop, so that's a possibility. So my stop should have been below this red candle here. So would that have been safe? Let's find out here in a minute. Otherwise, I'm totally wrong, and they're coming straight down to take out these lows that I was talking about. But if they were going to do that, we would need to see them go back up first to come back down. So I'm still looking for them to go along. So they've come all the way down. So this wasn't safe even below that low. So there was no safe here with my stop. And that's a little disconcerting in itself too. So let's see if I should go back in to go long or what at this point. So we come down to this gap and taking that one out. So there's nothing left to hold us up except for that gap, which is still holding. Okay. So I'm looking for another fractal here. I'm going to buy again because I think we're going up. I'm expecting us to go up.
Trades off. It got positive again.
My expectation is that we should go up. I'll give it another shot. Now I could wait and be a lot more patient than I am being, and wait for the 1, 2, 3. Wait for the retrace. I'm trying to get in early on a fractal. I've actually done it on the fractal on the seconds chart, but it might not be done. They can still take me out here. So yeah, and they did. So they're going down much lower than I would have expected them to go down. Just by a tail. Wow. So this is what stops people from trading, because they get stopped out a couple of times and then they get gun shy to go back in. And you can't let that dissuade you, especially if you think you're correct in your analysis. So it's just a matter of staying alive. So now you can be more patient. You can say, okay, since I've been stopped out a couple of times, let me wait for a breach of the highs here. Let me wait for a 1, 2, 3 to set up and then go in that way. And that would give you a little bit more confidence if that works out, rather than trying to jump in early and getting stopped out. Now my stop outs were very small, so that's okay. I can make that back in quick time. So you have to look at it in that way. So we didn't break that high. Come back to that order block. I'll buy it at the order block. Again, try it again at that point and see if we can go. Stop loss down on the tail. Don't have to go all the way to the bottom. I shouldn't have to. Maybe I needed to. Oh my, 3 in a row. That's terrible. So they're playing lots of games here with everybody. At this point, it looks like they want to take that low out after giving us such a nice candle.
That's what I was originally looking
Wow, that's amazing. So they came and took that low out again. So they really playing here because it looked like we were definitely going to turn on that move and get a nice 1-2, and then we'd go. And they said, nope, we're not done. We need more. So they come and take everybody out again. So I didn't put my stop all the way down there because it's too far from where I entered. So I put it halfway down the tail to make sure that if they do come and take me out, it's not such a bad loss there. All right, so I'm getting another fractal. So I'm still confident that we're going to go up. I'm going to give it another shot. I'll try the tail again. This is why sometimes I don't even bother putting the stop in, because it's so frustrating that they take you out. You put your stop in, they take you out. But you just can't take that risk sometimes because, you know, you could all of a sudden be way down here. So better to be safe than sorry, they say. All right, looking for that push up. Looking for breach of the high. Give us a 1, 2, 3 here to go. We got 6 minutes before the macro kicks in, so am I going to be right and we're going up, or am I wrong? You see, we're sitting right on the precipice here too. We could easily fall. You know, we could easily go up. They could do this. They could drop it, or we could continue pushing. So which one will it be? And it's very tricky right now to decide and determine which is going to be correct, because we're sitting right on the edge of the abyss of falling. Right inside that gap on the 5 minute. Let's see how the 15 minute looks. 15 minute, it's been quite strong. Look at, we should continue pushing up. However, again, we're sitting on the edge here. How's Tesla look? Tesla's still stuck in that fourth wave. Interesting. Yep. So does Tesla spike up at the end here? Peter?
They might spike it up to take out the stops, but I think overall we're going
It's going to
down.
go down, yeah. It looks so. Yeah, so Tesla might be telling us the truth, and I'm trying to go along here. So I have to be really careful, because if I do get a spike, it could just be to come back up into this gap here, and then we're coming down in a hurry. So that's because lots of liquidity sitting here. Lots. And there's only small liquidity sitting above these levels. So it's looking more like we want to fall. However, they're very good at tricking us. All right, I'm going to put this gap on right here. Excuse me. Right here. It's a 5-minute gap. So in the 1 minute, can we push back up into that 5-minute gap before macro kicks in? And we could still see this fall. Excuse me. We could still see us fall here. And they're looking to take me out already again. Wow, that's amazing. Not looking good here at all. So I'm not getting the push up like I'm expecting. So three strikes, eh? Have to wait for the next inning. Okay, we've got 3 minutes to go. Still expecting them to go up. And at this point, we could come back down in a hurry. So that would be the same with Bitcoin, which is Bitcoin is moving up. And so looking for Bitcoin to make that move up as well, like that. And then we could see a meltdown, possibly. S&P, looking for them to move up as well. Tesla is very much sideways, so it's a tough one on Tesla. But they could certainly pop to the upside first. All right, we have 2 minutes left. Less than 2 minutes left. Okay, into the last minute, last 30 seconds here before the macro kicks in. So again, I'm looking for a pop to the upside first before they drop it. So let's see if they actually do what I'm expecting, or I mean, they could just drop it straight down too, but we would expect a bounce first. All right, so we're right at the
Like
10 minutes to mark. So they are going down. They're taking out the liquidity here first. Are we going to go back up or not? Well, if they take this guy, that's it. So they don't go back up at all. Wow. That's hilarious. That is simply astounding. So Tesla dropping straight. So Tesla, no going up first, they're just going straight down. Interesting. S&P going straight down. NASDAQ. Yeah, that's enough to bring tears to your eyes, because the expected move all afternoon was that they would come down, take out these lows, and then they play games and make you start second guessing and reconsidering your analysis, and then they do exactly as you think they were going to do, but you can't get in and stay in to make any profits on it, because it's just game playing and messing you around. And they call this the accumulation manipulation. So this is the manipulation, essentially, that move up, and then now they drop it down. So very good. So will they actually take the low? We should, because that's where all the liquidity is, right? So had they done what I was expecting here at this point, I would be in this move to the downside, but they didn't do it. So I was expecting them to pop it up here. That would give me a sell, and they don't even do that. So nothing you can do about it. So that's why my buys wouldn't work in here, because they were not going to go back up. To give me that move back up into the gap. It's all a ploy. So very, very good on their part. So there it is. So they finally do what I was expecting them to do at this point here, to go down, take out the lows, come into this gap, and then bounce back to the upside. Now they're finally doing it.
If I hung in there, I'd be up something like 400 candles.
Yeah, it's a tough one, because we're just stuck in this fourth wave mess, and it's very difficult. You know, as you can see, it's very, very difficult to traverse in here. Yeah, I made some profits, but I got taken out 3 times in a row at the end here. So I think I gave all my profits back, and you see how I did. Yeah, I had like five losses in a row, and I had, let's see, 2, 3, 4 wins, and yeah, 4 wins, 5 losses. So pretty much a break-even type of affair here today. So not very happy at this, because they came up and destroyed our structure, especially at this
So it
point
actually
here.
called the structure earlier, but then you changed. They went up at around just before 3 o'clock. When they went up, you had changed.
Yeah, so see, they came right back exactly where I was expecting them to go to. So this was the move that messed everything up, because at this point we know this is a 3 and we're in the 4th wave. So now they don't go through. They give us an E leg, but this E leg should have been done like right here. Okay, we're good. We should be coming down now to take out the lows. But they don't do that, and they start going up. So now you start thinking, okay, well maybe they're not going to give us that drop.
Yeah, well, that was kind of the problem, and that's why I moved my targets back up higher, just to make sure that I stayed on the positive side, you know, so I could close positive rather than taking the loss, and that worked. But the movement that they were making was not that great. I mean, they were trying to keep you guessing all along.
Yes.
I have to go, Lennox. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, Peter.
Take care,
Thanks for
Peter.
dropping in.
Yeah, good show.
Yeah, take care. So at this point now that we've finished the move, we could look to go long.
So you can look to go long at this hour of the day. I'm not seeing that much to gain.
Well, this is going to go into Asia.
I don't really like the night moves that much because there's not that many people that play. So the volume is way, way down, and you end up being more or less at the mercy of who's ever on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the Asia sessions is slow, but you definitely can make profits in there if you can discern what's going on. The trick is to just be able to discern what's going on, but they're tricking everybody in Asia primarily because most of the time they're just doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, most of the stuff is set before you get the close that we're into right now. And like, if you know, for example, if you figured out that, okay, the Asian session is going to be moving higher, well, then you can get into it now and just let it go and wait for it. But if it doesn't, and it goes against you, your losses could be slightly more than you would normally anticipate.
I'm thinking about going long here before the bell, because at the bell they can pop this back up. So let's see.
But they've been doing so many crazy things today that, you know, you wonder how they're going to react to the bell at this point.
I'm jumping in on the fractal.
Yeah, well, that's fine too. Yeah, I've been quite often getting in on the fractal quite easy with my limit orders because I put the limit on before, you know, it even gets to that point. And if I've made a good choice of where I think that limit is going to be, it does me fair game, you know. I get in where I wanted to get in.
Okay, less than a minute before the close. Let's see if they do spike it up, or they could drop it down too.
But at this point, you should know what you want to do.
Looking for them to pop it back up now, but will they or will they not? We'll know in 10 seconds here. Might drop it down further, but this low looks pretty good because we're right in the middle of that gap. And we're into the close is now. So I'll put a stop down here just in case, but looking for them to push it back to the upside here. Give me 1 minute, I'll be right back.
Yep.
Okay,
So you have your 1, 2, 3 bottom at this point.
got the 1, 2, 3 bottom. So will they continue pushing up, or
Well,
is
right
it?
now they haven't committed to either way.
Yeah, I mean, we could get a chop in here. They could drop it one more time to take liquidity here, but
Yep.
that might be themselves here at the bottom of this gap. So looking for them to push it, but we're not getting that. I thought maybe we get a big push at the close back to the upside, but it's not happening. So that gap looks good. We should push off from here. We've got our structure complete. As expected, that they messed it up. Didn't think they were going to do it that way. That's for sure. It was more.
And from a
this way.
cycle point of view, that it looks like we should be going up, but they haven't really set it up ideally for me.
No, and we could go lower here because I can see that they could chop it here and drop it one more time just to be mean. Just wick it down here and then go back up. It's the same thing they did here. They can bring it back up and then drop it one more time. So it might not be out of the woods in the clear. That's why they're not making that big move at the close to go back up. So we could just gyrate in here again. So I might get into profit and maybe take my profit if I get it up here, because they can still drop it down one more time. I took a big risk here putting a stop down here. So we shall see how this plays out. So I might just look to, if we come back up and take out this high, that might be enough, and they could still come back down one more time. So probably not the smartest play at this point, but I do have a 1, 2, 3 yes, but it's not. I got in way early on that because I thought maybe they were going to just pop, but nope.
Not what you would call an ideal 1, 2, 3.
Not the greatest, no.
It could,
could get a little bit of profit out of it. Yeah, this was super sneaky here today, and this is a good lesson for everyone, because for myself the lesson is I've got to stick to my my analysis. My original analysis was correct, that yes, we're going to break these lows, and them chopping it up and down like this and making you start to wonder, am I losing my mind or what?
yeah, well, that was my original analysis, that we were going to go down too, but the fact that we had a large area where it was just consolidating and playing with us, which I think was around just before 345 back. After it hit that peak, well, actually, our analysis was going on right around before 3 o'clock even.
Mm-hmm.
And when it started going up, that's when we sort of convinced ourselves that this is going up and not coming down again. And indeed, it did go higher, but the overall objective was still going down. And
Yes,
because I didn't look at the high enough time frame to see that this was just a play to get more lots for them.
Yeah, and I should have been looking at this as, yes, this is the final move, and I should be going short. But it's tough because they made it, and they were very convincing that, okay, this is a move back down 5 waves. We should be getting 1, 2 to continue back up to take out these highs again. So yeah, it's very good on their part. Like I say, you have to give it to them. That's for sure. very tough. They really messed it up
When
in
I
here
look
because
at the 15-minute chart, it was a problem one. It literally was questionable where it would go, but it was more directed towards the downward move than an upward move. But
the
it was
15-minute
not
chart,
an
this
easy
is the middle.
call on the 15-minute. I don't know what now I'm on the 30-minute.
Yeah, the 15-minute, the mid area here is again indicative of lots of stops that should be taken out.
Yeah.
So by them going way up here, they induce everybody to go long, and it's just a great ploy. You know, they're really faking everybody to go long, and unless you stick to your guns that, oh no, this is just a fake out move and we need to be going short.
Well,
yeah,
I
you
mean,
get
the
sucked into
interesting
that.
thing is if you look at an hour chart, the first upward peak, I put a mark on that chart. I'd give you the numbers, but okay, yeah, that the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blue candles, and I guess that blue candle might be a high one, or the next one will be the high one. But that was my demarker. If I break that, you know, it looks like we should be going higher. And when I saw that, that's when I really became in doubt as to what direction this thing was going to go.
Well, the hourly is giving us the bigger picture, and like I said, I called it out properly, but it's just trying to get in and stay in and go in the right direction. So this is you know the classic move here. We got the 5 waves down. This is a sweep. Then we go back up. We sweep. So this is what we're looking for. I'm looking for this retrace back in to go. So this is what I'm looking for.
Retrace was too high and on a big candle, really. And
well, you see that this red candle, this hourly, the previous hourly candle.
What do you mean?
It took a long time before they came back down into that gap, which is that was the expected move. But
so
yeah,
it was not an easy analysis. Let's put it that way. But
I could see it, but it's just playing it.
It seemed though that at that starting point on that hourly chart that it was supposed to go down, but
so all I'm looking for now is a bounce back up into this area here, and then I would take I wouldn't sell at this point, but I would just take the profit off here, and they more than likely will come down in Asia, and take the low, induce everybody to go short, and then turn it around and come back up. So that's kind of what I would expect to happen. So if I can get some profit back up in here, that's great. That take a little something off those losses and come back up. But I basically ended up, like I say, break even today, which is
now you see that you're in a dampered wave situation as it consolidated. And so it technically should be going up, but you're reaching the point where I can't even look at money flow because you're getting too close to the after hours move, and you have to say, okay, is this structure good enough that it's just going to pass it along to Asia and they're going to do some consolidation, and then by London they'll make the next move. What did DAX do today? Did it close down or close up?
You're asking a question, sorry?
Yeah, I was wondering what DAX did today. Did that close down or up?
The DAX, I don't know. That's almost similar.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm saying is that the DAX is often a precursor to what the S&P is going to be doing, which is, you know,
It's looking like it's going to fall a little further down before we're kind of in a fourth wave as well. You can see we dropped from this level. We dropped from this level, boom, and now they're just kind of chopping it. So it looks like we're coming back down again. So they could chop it in here before they come down. So it's a similar type of pattern as the NAS was doing. Very, you know, I'm looking at this move in here, and it still bothers me that this that didn't drop it down at this point, because when I'm counting my structure, if this is my 3, then this is my A, this is my B, this is my C, this is my D. So E leg should really technically be done right here.
Right, right.
You know, that would make logical sense right at that point, and then we should get a 1-2 here, and down we should come. So what they did here is just super weird, and that's what threw me off. So then, of course, Omar is saying, "Oh, look at Bitcoin, look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going up." And so you look at Bitcoin, and Bitcoin, yes, Bitcoin is moving up, but it doesn't mean that. I remember Bitcoin has a high over here we're looking to break. Doesn't mean that this index is following Bitcoin, is going to follow Bitcoin and continue up. And Bitcoin could also turn over and come down without going up and taking out the high as well. So it's the same type of scenario. They're both going up. So why would they break this level here, break this low here, and go back up again? It's just very unusual pattern here, and what they did here.
Is. It really is.
Very unusual. So it kind of messed me up a little bit. I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'm wrong. They're not coming down. They're just going to continue up then and then go. Okay, without giving us a fifth wave, because we know that sometimes they don't give us that fifth wave. So that is a possibility, but nope. They're giving us that fifth wave, and they're going to give us a fifth wave here as well. Am I going to get this move up? Maybe not. You know, so I could be in jeopardy in here. So I have to be careful at this point as well. So we're at 15 minutes after the hour, so I'll call it a day anyways. This was an interesting exercise today. Yeah, you can see they're just sliding it sideways right away. So we're just going to be sliding sideways. I might get a little blip up into positive. I'll have to take that and get out because they're going to come down one more time. So I'll call it a day. I have to go out at this point, so we'll leave it at that. But a good edification today.
Every day
Thanks,
is
Lennox.
like that.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for
Take care, everyone.
dropping in and
Forward.
hanging in with us, and those people on YouTube. Again, thanks for dropping in, and do give us a like and subscribe.
See you tomorrow.
See you on the morrow.
God bless.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
All right.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Catch you guys tomorrow.